Hi everyone, it's Surface Nerd, and today we're doing my first real Marine Corps impression, as I did do a Marine Corps impression, kind of the same topic actually, a few months ago when we did our short film on Trench Builders channel. However, this is a real, more genuine Marine Corps impression, although it's actually not technically Marine Corps, it's Navy, but we'll get into that. So in this video, I'll be doing my 1969 Dewey Canyon, Operation Dewey Canyon Navy Corpsman impression. So I did technically do a Dewey Canyon video, of course, with my last one, my last Marine Corps impression, but this is kind of what I can do at the moment, and I think it's a cool concept, and Corpsman's a little different, and there's a little bit of cool history we can talk about with that. So yeah, let's get into it. So starting off, we have my 1968 dated green dominant ERDL jungle fatigues if they don't fly away. Small regulars. So in 1968, the Marine Corps adopted ERDO as their like camouflaged uniform. Wow, sorry about that. My throat is a bit sore, so goodness. But in 1968, the Marine Corps adopted ERDL as their uniform. They still, by 69, you still saw OD green fatigues. However, ERDL was becoming way more popular and was starting to be the most common Marine Corps uniform you saw. I do not have the Marine Corps stenciling on the top left pocket, which was fairly common with the Marines, because I use this for Army as well. So it's not just for Marines, but it works because it's under the flak, you're not going to see it, and a lot of guys didn't even wear the jackets. They just wore their pants and a t-shirt, and so it's not the biggest thing in the world. With the pants, I do not have the Marine Corps belt. That's something I do need to get, and I will get eventually. The Vietnam era Marine Corps belt. With my pants, in my pants, I just have a 1-quart canteen in the cargo pocket, just for extra water. Then we have my original 67 dated Vibram Sole jungle boots. These are my beautiful jungle boots. I'm very happy I got these 10 Narrows. Of course, at this time, Panama was around, but Vibram was still the most common and would be the most common throughout the entirety of the war, even by 68, because Vibram only came out, I think, in 67 or 68. So it was fairly new, or Panama, sorry. So Vibram was still the most common. I have some USGI socks. My blessing bands are in there. We have my mess tin, which, as I've always talked about, isn't really the most accurate or really all that common. Most guys would just eat out of their sea ration cans and boxes. For personal effects that go in the rucksack, besides the other rucksack items, which we'll talk about, we have a towel, which, harping on Trench Builders video on Operation Dewey Canyon, most guys aren't wearing towels. As he talks about, it was very wet in that area, and so a lot of times you don't really see the towels. But we have a Crown Royal bag, which holds all of this stuff, not that Bible. We have a 67 dated Bible. We have a Chihoy bag with all of my hygiene items. So we got toilet paper, toothbrush, comb, sea ration spoon, and toothpaste. Mess tin utensils, again, not really that common. Soap box and a soap container. We have some sunburn cream, a little period correct rosary pouch, and a somewhat period correct rosary. We have the gas mask bag. So I believe it was at Hawaii City in 68 where tear gas was, I think, used by the NVA on the Marines. I don't believe it was the Marines used it, and they just got caught up in it. But pretty much, they got caught without gas mask bags against tear gas. I believe it was tear gas. I don't think it was any other gas. And so after that, the Marine Corps standardized every Marine to carry his gas mask and his gas mask bag on him at all times, as they didn't want another incident like that to happen. We have my beautifully, really pretty minty 1967 dated second pattern M55 flak vest. In it I have M16 magazines in the pockets, and I have a bandage in the top pocket, which most of the times you see notebooks, cigarettes, and 20-round magazines, the most common things. But as a medic, or a corpsman in this case, I guess, that's a really quick, easy access bandage so I can grab whenever I go take care of a wounded man. The 67, the second pattern flak vest was, I think, introduced in 1967, and so by 69 it was the most common, even by 68 it was the most common flak vest. You do see some third patterns, very few first patterns, if at all, if any, but second patterns and third patterns are going to be your main things by 1969. I have my M3 medic bag, which was also used by Corpsman. However, the photos I have of what I believe to be Corpsman, I don't see how they wouldn't be Corpsman. I don't know if any of them actually have M3 bags. I think one does, and I'll put it up on screen. But the other two I have, I believe it's the US Navy Corpsman bag from like World War II Korea, but I don't believe it is because it doesn't match up correctly. If anyone does know what that bag is on screen, please let me know. It's really hard. I know it's not the easiest thing to see in photos, but it's interesting. So I know the M3 bag was used by Corpsman, so I'm going to use it. It is technically correct. This is my 68 dated one I got from a buddy. So I don't know if most Corpsman by 69 actually still used it, but especially in Dewey Canyon, but I'm going to use it as I know it was used, and I believe I do have one photo of it, so I'll take what I can get. Plus, I honestly don't know what bag the other bag they have is, and if it is that USN bag, those are not easy to come by, so I ain't getting that. The equipment setup is a fairly standard equipment setup for Marines in 1969, and specifically Corpsman. So the most common web setup you see in Dewey Canyon is 3 to 4 canteens on the back, and like a jungle first aid kit either on the 1910 hooks on the flak or on the belt in the front. By this time, most Marines weren't using the M56 ammo pouches. Some still were, but by 1969, a lot of the guys had gone away from that, and were using bandoliers primarily to carry their ammunition, or like a claymore bag to carry their ammunition in. This is all M56 gear. Of course, the Marines used M61 gear, but by 1969, they were starting to use a lot more M56 gear. If I had an M61 belt, which I will get eventually, that would be what I'd be using here. But the M56 canteens were what most Marines were using by this time. The 1910 canteen had kind of fallen out of favor. The JFAC, of course, which was standard for all Marines, and even more important for Corpsman. And then for Corpsman, I have a 1911 and a 1911 ammunition pouch. So Corpsman were issued with 1911s. I have one photo of a Corpsman in Operation Dewey Canyon with his 1911 on his side. So I know they were used. I kind of based my equipment setup off of him, because I saw they only had 2 canteens, and I'm assuming his JFAC's in the middle. If not, his JFAC's up front, which that's fine, but this was a pretty typical setup, because before the multi-canteen back one you see, the standard setup for Marines was 2 canteens, JFAC in the middle, and either M56 or M61 ammunition pouches with suspenders. And so it kind of stuck around. You still saw some guys using it, and of course no suspenders because you're wearing a flak vest. I don't really think anyone really used suspenders in 1969. I have some photos where the Marines might be using M56 suspenders, but I'm not too sure. I have a bandolier just to carry the rest of my ammunition. Of course, most Marines were carrying usually 1 to 2 bandoliers, or any other, like I said, any other kind of bag to carry ammunition if they didn't have M56 ammo pouches. And I usually don't like to run bandoliers when I do medic impressions, because the M3 bag is already, of course, across my chest with the strap and on my side. And I don't like having more things because I don't want to be bulky. And I'll do a quick disclaimer. I did base a lot of this off of photos, but especially the ruck and the equipment kind of like setup, I based a lot on like how soldiers actually would have done it, which is personal preference of, what do I like, what I don't like. And so this is a setup I find that it is period correct, and it is not based off exactly one photo per se, but it is based off all the photos, and then also, my personal liking, which is how soldiers would have done it, since there really isn't that many photos of Dewey Canyon, really any good photos of Operation Dewey Canyon with the soldiers and their kits. So, but the bandoliers are very common. But like I said, I don't like because I don't like being bulky. And so I typically don't run a bandolier. However, I don't have ammo pouches, so I still need to carry a lot of ammo. I need to carry ammo on me. The rucksack is pretty simple. I went for kind of bare bones. Operation Dewey Canyon, their ruck setups are, one, we don't know what they are, because you're going to be very hard pressed to find any really good photo, like good quality photos of Operation Dewey Canyon, and the rucks are the one thing that are like impossible to actually tell what they have. I mean, you see all kinds of different things underneath the flap, and so I did, the sea rat stock was from that one photo with the Corpsman, so I based that off of that. He has something above that, so I put my whoopee. Could also be a poncho. I have seen the poncho in that position a lot as well, so I probably should have put my poncho there, but I also put my whoopee there. I have 2 canteens on the side. I have seen guys put the canteens on the side. I have an M67 canteen, which I don't really know if that was 2-color with the Marines by 1969. I know it was around. I just have it. I would have put my 56 canteen cover on there, but I didn't want to 2 of them, and it's late war, so. Then I have an M56 canteen cover with an Australian canteen, 1-quart canteen in there, and my sea rat stuff. Of course, other guys have like a bunch of stuff on there: shovels, flare tubes, all kinds of different things. And it's really hard to tell what they actually have, but they like to bulk up the top and put things on the side. They didn't really like to put things on the bottom for most of the photos that I see. I forgot to take my t-shirt. And then, of course, the M16. This is an M16A1, which by 1969 is when it was adopted, and this is early 1969, so it's probably not the most common to have an A1. Or sorry, probably not the most accurate to have an A1. However, it's the one I have. It's not much different from the XM16E1, and the birdcage was starting to become pretty popular with Marines by 1969 as well. So, yeah, let's go learn some history and see what it looks like on me. And here's what it looks like on me. So don't ask me how, but I completely forgot to put my helmet on the display for the video, but I have it here. No helmet band. Most Marines in Dewey Canyon, at least part of the 3rd Marine Division, did have the rubberized, or the inner tube helmet band. Also, I do not know why, but I've also seen a corpsman with helmet band and the bug juice bottle. So I guess medics liked having their bug juice bottles. But that was that way. But I don't have it. Some Marines also still didn't have it, so it's still accurate. Chid straps are hung up. You also do sometimes see them down, but most of the times by late war, I think they are up or in the helmet band. It just depends. So Operation Dewey Canyon happened, I believe, in February of 1969 to March of 1969. I could be wrong on those dates. I know it was early in 1969, and the whole point of it was actually going into the Ho Chi Minh Trail in Cambodia and trying to disrupt the NVA supply and destroy a lot of trucks, which they did. They left, the NVA came back, and they had Operation Dewey Canyon 2. So, very interesting story. If you want more information, Trench Builder does a better video. I'll put his video of Dewey Canyon down below. I'll also put down below the video of our short film, which takes place in Dewey Canyon, which is pretty good. The acting could be better, but here's what it all looks like. This is the whole marching loadout. You don't really see them without rucks a lot. So, like, combat loadout, you don't really see that unless the times they are doing patrols and long distance stuff. They're not, really at base a whole lot. Well, they are at base, but they're doing long patrols, so they're usually always with rucks, as their whole job was to go out and to patrol and to find the enemy. So we have my bandolier, my M3 bag, my flak vest with my equipment underneath, gas mask bag, and my rucksack. I got my helmet and my M16. So yeah, this is very cool. I'm really enjoyed doing the Marine impressions. I'm excited to continue to do more Marine impressions, and of course more Army or Vietnam impressions as well. But yeah, otherwise I think that's it. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.